Well, hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. We're in the office tonight because it's a little bit windy. I had every intention of going live outside. And then the world sort of said no. All of a sudden, the wind picked up, and I was like dragging out the extension cord. There's something on my screen that is like right in the middle of my forehead, and it makes me stare at the center of my forehead. Hold on. Just dirt, just a little dirt. It'll be fine. Anyway, hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining me tonight. Sorry I'm late. It wouldn't be Tuesday if I wasn't a little bit late. I was doing all the chores and I was like, oh, I have 15 more minutes. It'll be fine. I'll run down and grab some packages. It wasn't fine because by the time I got out to my car, all the kittens followed me. And then I started to freak out thinking like, what if they don't move out of the way? So I started to put them up. And then as I'm putting one up, then one jumps out. Then Bernadette chases them out. Then Ritzy goes in to try to eat their cat food. And then it was just like a full-blown disaster. And I was like, forget it. I can't. So after we get done here tonight, I will run down and go get the rest of the packages. But I'm so happy to be here with y'all. Look at my cute little light. I can't point to it. Look at my cute little boot light. Someone sent that to me and it's a neon little boot and I'm a little obsessed. I really like it. So I turned the lights down and I was like, everybody has to see the boot tonight because it's so cute. There's a lot of decor that's coming out right now that's boots, and I'm having a really, really hard time refraining from it and like not kind of going, over the top with like boot stuff. Full confession, I've already gone over the top with boot stuff for my sweet little baby walker that's coming. And I don't mean like actual boots. I mean like they have these cute little ruffly Wrangler stuff that have little boots on them and, cowgirl stuff. And, well, her grandma is somewhat of a country girl. So why not have some boots in her life? Anyway, I'm so thankful that y'all are here with me tonight. It's only Tuesday and it's only the 3rd and it's been one hell of a month already. So let's make a cocktail. Full confession, found my most favorite From Suits to Boots cup in the back of the cabinet when I was sorting through cups today. And I was like, yes, that's for me. I just realized I didn't grab the alcohol. I'm going to need you to wait just give me a minute. Just give me like 1 minute. Hold on. Don't leave. It's just out here in the kitchen. Don't leave me. Oh, God. Come back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. A couple of things about tonight's beverage. I am going to make myself a cocktail, but someone sent me a cocktail as well. And I'm going to show you that in a second. First up, we're going to have a little Captain Morgan, a little Coke Zero, and a little lime juice. Okay. Got a little Captain in you. I even brought a spoon. Forgot the liquor this time, but brought the spoon. How horrible is that? Oh. There's other people that are saying it's been a hell of a month too. It's been a hell of a year. Okay. Little Captain, a little Coke Zero, a little bit of lime juice. If I had a real lime, actually I do have limes that are growing on the lime tree outside, but they're not quite ready yet. Let's stir this bad boy up. Even found the lid to it and a straw. Cheers, y'all, to Timeout Tuesday. Yep, that'll always be good. Okay, now let me show you what my friend sent me because we're going to try this. Instant cocktail pods. Wait a minute. I'm okay. These are gonna have to go into the next Timeout Tuesday, or we're gonna have to get together another night this week because she sent 2 versions. So this is my friend Miss Barb. She sent 2 versions. One of them were these alcoholic popsicles, and they're delicious, and they're out in the freezer. And then these I hadn't opened yet, and I was like, oh, these just must be short ones or slushy little cups or something like that. Wrong. Oh, you actually have to mix these. They're pretty much the straight deal here. I'll show them to you. Turns out you can't just drink this and eat it like a popsicle. Number one, I pulled it straight out of the freezer and it's not frozen salad, which should tell you the alcoholic amount in here. I was fully prepared to eat a frozen alcoholic popsicle with y'all on here. And now I'm like a little embarrassed that I did not read the instructions. So we will save this for another night. I'll pop it back in the freezer. But it says that you drop ice in glass, tear and pour cocktail pod, and top off with water, maximum 3 ounces. And in this are Cosmos, strawberry daiquiri, and Mai Tai ready to pour. So we'll wait on that another night. But thank you, Miss Barb, for this. The popsicles are fabulous. Okay. This is good. This is like Old Faithful. That's like a good little sipper. Very nothing spicy. It's, even though it's spice drummed, it's not spicy like hot spicy. It's spice. And it is mild because I don't pour very much in. Anyway, okay. Strawberry daiquiris are good. One of my favorite things when we used to go on vacation and when we went on a cruise, I tried something called a Miami Vice, which is a frozen drink, but it's half pina colada, half strawberry daiquiri, and the fancy places will like swirl it around for you. Oh my God, it's so good. It's like a creamy strawberry daiquiri. It is fantastic. Highly recommend that you try a Miami Vice. But I love both alone too, so excited about this as well. Jamie, are you fighting a cold? No. So I weed eated a little bit, and for whatever reason, I like breathe that in, and now I'm a little raspy. I guess I have an allergy to the stuff I weed eated, but that Wild Badger 4-in-1 tool that I got from a sponsorship turns out to be one of my most favorite tools. And I like the weed eater version because it's just battery powered and you just press the buttons and go. And there are points on my raised bed garden that the lawnmower can't get to. So the grass gets a little bit tall. And I might have gone a little bit like, I might have done I went Janelle on my garden a few days ago and I ripped out all the tomato plants and all the cucumber plants and all the squash plants. So what's left is some peppers. I did replenish. I put in some pumpkins and a few watermelon. The asparagus part of the bed is still there. And so are the green onions. But there's a few carrots. Everything else I just ripped out. And it just was overgrown. I had a lot of bug problems. I never planted cherry tomatoes. They just came like volunteer from last year. And if you've ever grown cherry tomatoes, they get like super crazy big, the plants, and they take over everything. It was like drowning out what I actually planted. So I was annoyed and I just started cleaning it up, and then it just got out of control. And well, then after I got it all up, then there were all these places that we missed with the mower because we're trying not to, I always tell Lester, like, if there's stuff hanging over my garden, just go around it and I'll deal with it later. So I did. Jamie, did you get a message about a Tractor Supply order? I messed up on a Tractor Supply order. Is that the one that y'all are talking about today? I have much things to talk about, but also nothing to talk about. So we're just going to catch up like we're a bunch of friends tonight and kind of just talk through it. I don't have like a big agenda to reveal to you. I've kind of been laying it out to you as we went live a few times this weekend and talked through that. But yeah, so I ordered a Tractor Supply order to be delivered, which turns out to be one of my most favorite things right now because it saves me a lot of time of running to go pick it up or whatever. And because we get points at Tractor Supply, every once in a while I earn a free delivery, which turns out to be amazing. So I placed the order and I never got any notification that it was placed. I got no email, I got nothing. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll replace it because I have to have it to feed up tonight. So I replaced the order. And the other weird part was this order kept taking me to the other store that was like 15 miles further than our normal store in Livingston. I'm like, okay, super weird. But okay, this is clearly where it needs to come from. So that's what I did. So then I get a text that says your Tractor Supply order is ready. Oh, okay, great. And then 15 minutes later, I get another text that says your Tractor Supply order is ready. And they're both two separate numbers. I placed two Tractor Supply orders within 2 hours of each other. And they're coming. One's here and one will be here tomorrow morning because I placed it after 2 o'clock. It's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. Fortunately, we will use it. It's horse food, goat food. It's all the things we're going to use. It's just going to save me another order. It's going to save me from doing that. So that's fine. There is someone that says, no, there's something else for you to pick up at Tractor Supply. I did not get notice of that, but if you shoot me an email, I'm happy to handle it. Anyway, yeah, the double dub. And what's horrible is the lady who delivered it is not our normal person that delivers it because it came from a totally different store. When she's calling that she's here at the gate, I can't go down to open up the gate, and Lester was already gone to the JL. Like, I'm telling you, oh, thank you, Miss Mary. And for everybody that's sending stuff, you don't have to do that. Thank you so much. But wow, thank you. Oh, someone ordered you something at the Tractor Supply in Conroe. Okay. If you just send me an email, I'll figure that out. Lester, y'all just probably came from Lester's live. So I think Lester had planned on going live right before me, and I keep freezing up. Tanya, are you sure you're the only one that has said that? I don't know if anybody else is saying that, but I don't mean to be freezing up. Okay. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone. That would be the only other thing within my reach that I can turn off. So Lester did go live, and y'all came from there. So did he feed up, and did he show you all 8 stalls? Say in the comments 8 if that's the case. Because there was a bit of confusion today that caused some really wild things to be said. Yes, 8. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lester, for doing that. Holy moly. Some people went really to a place that I did not expect to see coming when I shared today's video revealing the Buc-ee's and Ivy stall. So if you haven't watched my video today, you may not be aware of who gifted Buc-ee's and Ivy their stall. And I highly recommend that you watch that. And I can't talk about it because I don't want to cry. But what I did was announce that first instead of telling you all. If you are a supporter on From Suits to Boots, you helped us with Prim Stall. And I'm so grateful that you choose to be a supporter or send things in the chat or just choose to give me your time. But From Suits to Boots is who gifted Prim her stall, and that will complete all 8 of our stalls. And Boy, I'm gonna dive down like the future and talk to y'all about what I think is the future and what we know for sure, and then what the maybes are around things as well. Because not only were people mad that Prim didn't get a stall, even though Prim got a stall, um, people were very upset that I would consider pulling Storm away from her pond. So I have always said that I will do everything in my power to do what's best for each of our horses and do everything that I can, not only for the horses, but for every animal to meet all of their individual needs. And that still stands today. But sometimes in doing all of that is also what's best for the animals is finding a way to do pasture rotations or conserve, repair. Our pastures, like, if you have large animals, if you have any animals, you have to maintain their space just as much. So Lester and I talked about the stables at the JL North and what we wanted them to become and what we wanted to use them for and how we wanted this to be a forever situation. And that forever situation meant building something that was strong, sturdy, lasting, and that wasn't just pieced together. And that's why we did what we did. We also built 8. We have 8 horses and a pony today. And while only 5 are over there, right? Yeah, 5. Think about that. The others are here today. Our probably plans, and I say probably because everything can change, is that in the summertime, Storm, Prim, Bucky's, and Ivy will stay here. And then if we have to in the summertime because of drought or other circumstances, they will go to the JL North. However, the long-term plan will be that all horses spend winter at the JL North because of the stalls, because of this pasture can get a break. This pasture can get some repairs done to it. And having them all in one place whenever we have to do blankets allows Lester and I to be in one place as well, because it is challenging to be split up. It is challenging to divide and conquer. Can we do it? Absolutely, we can do it. But it's nice when you're going to blanket everybody to just do everybody and then to take everybody off at the same time and not worrying about being back and forth and all those things. So winters will be at JL North and summers, as needed, can go either way. Now, next summer, whenever it comes, or spring, when it comes back around and you look at the pastures and look at who has formed bonds, so much could change. And that is something that I want everybody to like think through and to be open-minded about, because I have to be open-minded about that. What if we get these horses over there and Bucky's and Talus become best friends? It would be really horrible to split them up then. What if Rita decides to join Storm back again? What if Prim becomes friends with Val? All of that matters, and that will be like to be determined. And then, the thing that these horses love, they love this pond. They love to swim in it. And what if the friendships mean that some of those other horses come back here instead? The neat part is that we have that opportunity. We have the trailers to do so, and that we can watch how relationships form and just go from there. And we'll take one day at a time and be able to utilize what we can. The one thing that probably will also happen is when these horses go to JL North for the winter, the 4 donkeys that are still here, so Imogene, Beverly, Dan, and Dinky Darrell, will switch over to the horse side of this pasture, because then they have the horse barn to be able to utilize for the winter as well, and not everybody's trying to jam into the loafing sheds. So there's a lot going on and a lot to think about and to be conscious of. But what we are blessed is the opportunity to figure out who forms relationships and friendships with who, and then just be able to pivot if we need to based on grass and weather and all of those things. But today, well, I guess it was today, I am a bit of a procrastinator with things that are going to make me emotional. If I know that there is a time that is going to make me get lost in something, I will put it off until I can truly give my time to it. And we knew when the stall was completed for Bucky's and Ivy's this weekend that I wanted to be the one to make this video. Um, I'm not saying anything about Lester and anything like that, but I feel like the horses have been kind of my thing, especially when it comes to their sick care. And when we knew that we wanted to do this with the Dixie and Voodoo piece on Bucky's and Ivy's stall, I had a vision for this video. And I kept saying to Lester, I'm like, I need to work on that. I need to work on that. And I was avoiding it. So last night, after all the chores are done, I finally sit down to start working on this video. And y'all, first I started in the bathtub where I was crying. I moved to the office after I'd refilled the tub twice and the water got cold and I was like, I better get out because Lester's going to want to come to bed soon and this is going to be a late night because I wanted it to be perfect. I knew in my head the memories that I wanted to locate. And if you don't know, we've been videoing for 7 years, 6, 7 years, me personally for 6 years. And to go back into old phones, like this is embarrassing, okay? This cracked old phone that takes the old kind of charger that clearly still works but doesn't hold a battery very long is what I had to charge up last night, try to remember my password to because it has so many moments from our life still stored on it. And to pull those up, wait for them to download, capture them, and to be able to pull it through, I was up until 2 o'clock this morning working on this video. And even when I went to bed, I had a hard time unwinding from it because not only did I dig through and find the things that I was looking for, I found so much. And it's like going through the baby clothes upstairs of Xander's. It's like sitting down to watch, home movies that you haven't seen in a decade, even though it's not been that long. But it was just like, it was so emotional to go down that path. I ugly cried in this chair last night. I had snot. I was using my shirt for things. It was an embarrassing time. But when I went to bed and I finally fell asleep, I was back up in true Marilyn and Janelle, menopause fashion. By the way, Janelle is my mother, Marilyn is my grandmother, and I have a lot of their blood running through me, and I use euphemisms. I saw somebody else go, "Who's Janelle?" She's my mother. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, wide awake, and I'm like, something's wrong with me. I've had 2 hours of sleep, and it's because I couldn't stop thinking about the video and I wanted to watch it again to make sure that I spelt everything right and that the timing of things was right. And I think it turned out really beautiful. I would be lying if I told you I haven't watched it 5 times because it brought back a lot of memories and really just turned out to be special. And thank you for complimenting me on it, for commenting on it, and for taking the time to watch it because truly, even though I made it for everyone, it was also very therapeutic for me. Sometimes you forget about the in-depth details, and there's a lot of videos that actually never, or parts of videos that actually never make it to y'all. And I found quite a few of those last night where I had recorded moments but chose not to use them in videos for whatever reason. And I just found myself like going back through and thinking through about those times. And it's weird because it's been 2 years since Dixie passed, but it feels like a lifetime has gone by since then. And yet Voodoo was only a few months ago, and it also feels like it's been years because so much has happened since that time. And I just can't help but think about like what would be different if they were still here. And I say this a lot. If you ever told me 10 years ago that I would have experienced anything with horses, let alone helping to take their last breath and relieving them from pain, or doing any caring for any of them, getting one to an ICU and the other doing twice daily medications and soaking her in ice, and just all of the things that have happened. Venograms for Voodoo and x-rays in the pasture and literally laying in the dirt. All of those things. I can't believe this is my life, and I can't believe what I have learned through those moments, through those times. And I also can't help but think about Ernie and what Ernie's going through right now, and just hoping, Ernie's journey is about to hit a year since we first discovered he was sick. And there's been a lot of people that reached out and told me, try this, try that, try this. And boy, I'm trying. I'm trying it all. And Dixie was sick for almost a year. Voodoo was sick for about 8 months, basically after his injury. And Ernie now, it's wild how much of a part of your life it becomes. Yet also when it's not there anymore, how quickly you fill it with other things. And I don't mean like fun things. I just mean like the next animal gets sick or the next problem happens, and it's just kind of crazy to me. Ivy was sick a lot this winter, and there was a time where Lester came to me and said, you need to make this decision. It's time. And I stood up and said, it's not time. And I'm glad I did, because she's doing much better right now. But going back through those videos, Ivy's had a lot of problems throughout her life since she came to us. She didn't come to us healthy. She came to us sicker than sick, starved and infected, and her leg caught in wire, and just like so many things that she has overcome, and yet she's still here. In fact, she ran Prim off of her food this afternoon because I put a special supplement on their food, and none of them are like mean about anything, but they all want that first bite with that. They love that supplement. And Ivy beat Prim to it today, and I laughed really hard, not for Prim's sake. Prim still got some on the other one, but Ivy beat her to a bowl. And I'm just like, little Ivy, the donkey that believes she's a pony. It's so crazy to me how even in the very first video of Bucky's, she is right in his business and is like owning him. And she's in everything and is a part of everything. And it's wild to know that outside of, the Imogene who was here and the other donkeys who we got all at the same time, that Ivy came later, and she did not affiliate with being a donkey. She looked at those horses and said, those are my people. And it's sad to think about who she's seen come and go. And also my curiosity around what will happen with the merge, and who will she still stay with Bucky's? Will Talus accept her? Will Val befriend her? I have no idea who has experience with donkeys. We all know that Rita's experience with donkeys are mostly her chasing poor donkey Dan around. But even Rita's matured a ton since that time too. So when the time comes and we do that merge, it will be interesting to watch what unfolds and just kind of see what happens and see what kind of relationship can form. And then as far as Ernie goes, I will say that today was a better day than yesterday, but it really is touch and go. And it's really hard for me to admit this, but I said to Lester the other day, like, do we think that there's someone else that could care better for the alpacas? Like, do we have tainted pastures? What are we doing wrong, you know? And I know he talked to y'all about some of those possibilities and things, but when we go to the vet tomorrow, we'll bring in a fecal again and see what's going on. I feel like his poor stomach is just like stomachs. He's a ruminant animal. Stomachs are just off balance above everything else, and that this humidity, rain every third day, and so much, and things start to grow around it. Like, I feel like we just can't kick everything and can't get it done fast enough. And watching the rest of that pack be mean to him the other day, it broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart. And he's currently in the pasture by himself, but Lester and I are trying really hard to get Indy to go in there with him so that way he can have a companion as well, because their demeanor and stress matter just as much. Miss Carrie says don't get rid of him. I would never get rid of just Ernie. If the alpacas went somewhere, it would have to be as a pack or as a herd. I don't know if they're a herd I don't know what it's called. But they would have to go together, and it would not be with just a regular farm. It would be with someone who specialized in alpaca, because they really do need more, like, they need a specialist. And that is what I've learned, especially as time has evolved and this barber pole has become resistant to everything. They may need more, and they may not do the best in Texas because of our heat and humidity. And that is something that we have to agree or have to figure out. And I'm not making decisions. I've always told you, I will do what is best for the animals. And that may not always be me. It may not always be Lester. We haven't made up our mind. We haven't talked to anyone else yet. We just, we're just really trying to be open-minded and do what's best for them. So we'll see. But tomorrow we will see. Tomorrow's the fecal day. We'll take it in, have them look at it. Lester is also bringing the kittens to the vet tomorrow for their first vaccines. I did deworm them 2 weeks ago, but I still, who knows what's what with them. So we'll see what's going on with them tomorrow as well. Hopefully nothing. They're all acting fine. They're all everywhere. They literally chase me out to the car. And if I go to that door right now, like the outside door, they're waiting there for me. Why? They have food. They have water. They just are the most social kittens that I've ever seen in my whole life. Hold on a second here. There's questions about, I think it's if the alpacas can go to the jail north. I actually want to have the soil tested before we do that. So we'll see. Oh, I lost it. I don't know. I lost it. Am I okay with Carl raising babies? No. Nope. No. I don't want any more ostriches. I love Tina. I love Debbie. I loved Wanda. I loved Susan. But the males are just not for me. And this is really, I I really want all of our pastures to heal a little bit. And that doesn't mean moving everybody out and having nothing here, but it does mean like changing the flow, changing the traffic, changing the patterns and things like that. It appears that we are too late to pull Carl off anything because Carl tried to kill Lester a little bit whenever Lester was out in the pasture. So that is probably out of our control. My only hope is like that we get the thing where they said the humidity was way too high and that somehow that holds true. But we'll see. Ostriches. You all know that he's loved ostriches from the beginning. And I'll support whatever he decides, but I also am at a place where like I need nothing else to take care of at this point. Which is probably why it felt good even to rip out the tomato plants and to weed eat and be done with it. I am at a place where like simplifying is really important to me. And even though, oh my gosh, when we went up to Canton, no, where was that place? The video that I made yesterday showing the alpacas and the camels, the emu, and the zebras in that pasture, I made jokes and saying, all right, if Lester gets to have ostriches, I want a camel or a zebra. And then I also had a lemur sit on my head. And as fun and cute as that little lemur was, I literally need nothing else in my life to stress about, care for, anything else right now, because I just want to catch up with where we are and find a groove and let some things heal. And then I have a grandbaby that's coming, and that's probably going to take some of my time because they don't live next door. So if I get a lemur, who the heck is going to take care of a lemur when I have to go to Illinois for a long weekend? I know what you're saying. Lester would love the lemur. Lester would love the lemur. It would probably go everywhere with him. But I don't need a lemur. In the state of Texas, you do not have to have a license for lemurs because they're primates, not monkeys. I did ask that question just out of curiosity, not because I wanted one. In fact, when I said it, I was like, I don't want one, but I am curious. Do people have to have this? Because, some people buy animals because they look fun and cute and then they don't take care of them. And I just was curious, like, are there rescues for these? Like, what happens when somebody doesn't want to have the 24? Because that's basically like having a baby. It's like having a baby. You have to take care of it 24/7. The people that we talked to that actually own them joked and said that this was part of their retirement and this was what they did for fun was, they have lemurs and they had mini ponies and something else. And they say that they sleep less and work more now than they ever did when they were working a full-time job. So, yeah, those will not be a part of our they will not be a part of our future. I promise you that. Zebras are wild and crazy. One time, Courtney told me, because I said I would love to have a zebra, and if there was such a thing as a mini zebra, that would be so fun. And she looked at me and said, I will never be your farrier again if you ever get a zebra. In fact, she said, I'll never be your farrier if you have anything mini or a zebra. And then later on in life, she ends up with a few minis, and I have given her such a hard time about it because she told me that they're crazy, and they are crazy. But she's evolved just as much too. Christy says, I vote for a camel or a giraffe. So zebras can be mean. All animals can be mean, but it's more so of that they're scared. They're not aggressive like that. As I understand from a camel standpoint, first of all, I don't really want a camel. They are funny to watch for me. I don't know why they're funny to watch, but they're funny to watch. And I enjoyed watching them from the side of the road. But I don't want to be spit at. I have been spit at by alpaca, and that is the nastiest. It gives me chills just to think about because, yeah, it's a putrid smell. And you vote the camel. Somebody says, we vote you a camel so you can tow the camel. Great. Thank you. Listen, don't encourage Lester to be getting camels out of the JL, okay? We already have enough very big things. The very last thing that needs to be strolling out there next to Chuck and Roman is a giant camel. That would be... No, thank you. No, thank you. Did somebody say a camel can fit a whole person's head in their mouth? Y'all are nuts. I used to jokingly want a zebra and a giraffe, but I don't, y'all. I'm at a place right now where I love caring for animals. I love my garden. My job is more time consuming than it ever has been, and I've talked a little bit about that in weeks past. But our plate is full. Our plate's full. Before I had my kitchen meltdown, Lester and I had found ourselves with like 2 months of not doing one single thing together. And I literally mean like not fast food together, not just nothing, because life was crazy. And I had that meltdown that I've openly talked about and said that I'm overwhelmed and that it's too much and that I need help and that we need to do something that's other than just bury ourselves in this, or you just need it. And I fully believe that everyone needs a tiny break. And I don't mean like pack it up and go stay in a hotel. I mean like a change in your pattern and your grind every once in a while to just give you a little bit of reprieve. And thankfully, Lester and I have done that, and it's been really good. But as far as adding any more animals or anything like that, like my answer right now is no. I will say that I'm thinking here, the last animal that we added were the chickens. And some people probably think that was, I mean, there's 17 chickens out there, that was probably, oh no, Lester's here. Oh no. What did he say? Because a lot of people are saying Lester. Oh my God, Lester Eugene Morrow Jr. Oh no. What did he say? I didn't even know he was watching. He must have commented way up because I don't see it at all. Or he deleted it because he don't forget about the occasional. Oh my God. Anyway, Lester is pee-patting. The chickens have been really fun and have been a blessing and are the most minimal work. I don't think that either one of us really knew how having a coop in a dedicated area for chickens could make chickens so easy. And it's been really awesome. Not to mention that I let them out for a few hours every day and they make their rounds. And then after I get done on this live tonight, they'll be out in their coop and I'll just walk outside and close it up and all is well. So I feel like we did that right. I'm yawning. That whole 2 hours of sleep last night catching up with me, that's for sure. But he's been watching for quite a while, Cindy says. Great. Edward did find his voice. So Edward turns out to be rooster number 2. Terrence is rooster number 1. And I still believe that Sam is a rooster, but I have not seen him crow yet. And I don't know who else. So I'm confident that there are 3. Miss Pat is going to take 1 and probably 2 Barnevelder hens. And that is fine. They'll have to stay in her coop for probably a week or 2 before she can let them out. Otherwise, they'll be running back over here and bringing her chickens with them. So that'll be fine. I'll walk them over there one night while they're roosting. Probably one night this week, I'm guessing. I gotta look at our weather and see what that's going to be like. I don't want to put them over there when it's going to be so hot that they can't stay in the coop during the day. I love Sam. So Sam is one of the bald eagles. We have Sam and Liberty, and they're partners. And if I can help it, I will keep both Terrence and Sam. Um, Diane says, "Are the roosters dead to Lester yet?" No, he loves Terrence. He loves Terrence. Like, he calls Terrence when he gets out of his truck, or whenever he walks out back, he goes and looks for Terrence and calls him, and Terrence comes running. I don't know if you watched my video on Facebook this morning, but Terrence will run to you to greet you. I'm not making that up. Terrence is like a dog. He comes to say hello. And once he says hello, he's just like, okay, just want to let you know that I'm here. And then he goes back to his little flock and does his own thing. And it has been like such a blessing and so much fun to have them. And it did not add a lot of extra work. So really grateful for that. They actually have helped with weeds in the garden. They did dig up a few potatoes, but pretty minor. I do wish Nate could be here, but y'all, Nate has been at the sanctuary for over 7 years. It would be really hard to take him here and put him out of his element. That's kind of his space. That's his barn. That's his home. And I would never forgive myself if I selfishly brought him here and he got in a fight or a predator got him. So as much as I love Nate, I think Nate is in a good space, and doing what's best for Nate is leaving him there. So, do I have nesting box for the chickens? I do, Miss Joni. So in each of the coops, there are nesting boxes out there with somebody sent pads, the nesting pads, and I have those out there. I think we're still a few months out from them laying eggs, but oh, I can't wait for Pea Pat's little tiny baby eggs, because I will have a hard time not hatching those. I genuinely already know that I will have a hard time not having a few more of those. But I won't do it in the summer. There's too many flies. It's too hot. It's too risky. Well, that's a fall thing. Oh, Miss Shannon says, I miss Corny. I miss Corny too. I really do. He was such a huge part and such a character. And a lot of the videos I was going through last night had him inside of them. And believe it or not, there were parts in time with Corny where I had this connection with him. And that sounds really crazy to say, that I had a connection with a turkey, but I did. And specifically, the ones that I ran across were when Gloria died, his very first love. Oh, those broke me. Just broke me. And then here's Lester and I 3 times. 3 entire times we got Cornholio females as partners. Y'all. Dixie Chick turns out to be Dixie Chuck. I don't know if y'all were here for that, but that was horrible. Gloria was a partner, and then we got Marsha and Jan, and poor Marsha wanted like nothing to do with him, and Janky Jan wanted things to do with him in the beginning until she saw Carl, and then Cornholio was like nothing, and she fell in love with Carl. So I don't know. Corny just had a better relationship with Crocs than anything else, I guess. He just really was unlucky in love, and I just felt so sad for him. And I remember I found the video where I was introducing him to Jan and Marsha, and I was like, you don't have to be shy. It's okay. And his little snoot is like dripping down, and I'm like, tuck it in, buddy, tuck it in. You can look handsome. And he would like get it all short again, and then he'd just like relax. And it was the funniest moment. I'll have to post some of those. But it was wild to go down memory lane and to think about how it feels so long ago, yet it's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. Miss Martha says, what happened to Corny? We suspect he just died of old age. If you look up about turkeys, they don't live very long, and Corny was probably 6, 7, 8, something like that. We don't know. You can tell by their beard, and his beard was long. But they found Cornholio, and there were no injuries or anything like that. Just he just passed. He wasn't sick. He didn't have any marks on him or anything like that. But just sad. Cornholio was a birthday present to me, and he was attacked by a dog, and that lady thought that if it happened again that he wouldn't have survived, so he came to stay with us. And boy, did he leave an impression from day one. Number one, Lester brought him home on his lap. Who does that? Number two, almost all of the women on Morrow Hill were scared of turkeys, which I don't know if you know this, but most of the women on Morrow Hill are pretty badass. And to see Sister Kim would come over and not get out of her golf cart. Bree was terrified. Lou was terrified. And I was just like, it's just a turkey. And he found joy in people being scared of him. So it would enhance itself. Like if he knew that somebody was scared, he just wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop. Such a big character for us, and just like always kind of there. I will say that his last year he became much more aggressive, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if it was just there's a lot more male roosters around that, flared that up, if it was because he didn't have women, or if it's just because he got to be a grouchy old man. I don't know. But he lived a good life, and I don't think there'll ever be another turkey that could ever have the personality of Cornholio, because he was just one in a million by far. Same thing goes with Pablo. Boy, did I get wrapped up in some Pablo video last night, and I'll share some of these throughout the next couple of days and let y'all reminisce with me as well. Be prepared to get emotional. I'll just give you that disclaimer. People were mad at me today because I didn't say that the video was emotional, and they watched it and started to cry and then ruined their makeup at work and all kinds of things. But sorry to ruin your makeup. But Pablo's a duck that showed up and was so friendly that you could hold him. He would follow you around. I held real life conversations with him where I swear that he answered my questions. He would come to the porch and knock on the door, and if you open the door, he was coming in. He would go directly to the dog food, have a bite, have some water, and then come either lay down in the dog bed. I can't tell you how many times I woke up with him on the couch or in the dog bed, because we would get up early and open the door to let the dogs go out and leave it open when the weather was nice for an hour or so while we laid back down or whatever. And so the dogs could come and go. And Pablo made himself at home. And we would have coffee with Pablo almost every morning on the porch. You would be out back working, and all of a sudden, here's Pablo. Or up front, here's Pablo. On the porch, here's Pablo. And then he became friends with Adam or Steve. Now, Adam or Steve is the longest standing duck in Plum Grove. And he also, I found video clips of whenever we first got Adam and Steve. So if you didn't know that, Adam and Steve were brothers, and someone from the church got them as an Easter thing, and it turns out that they didn't want to raise them in their bathtub, and brought them over to us and was like, will you take them? And we were like, sure. We have a tiny 1 foot deep pond at the time. Sure, it'll be fine. Had no idea that they would turn out to be such huge characters, or that they would play such a big role in our story. Adam or Steve, one of them was killed, and the other one mourned his loss for what felt like forever. So they looked exactly alike, and we didn't know if it was Adam or Steve who left, or Steve or Adam who left. So we named the one remaining Adam or Steve as a joke, and it has stuck. But he's lived a very long time. And the other remaining feathered animal that has been there since the very beginning is Nate. So it's kind of crazy and heartbreaking to remember. And if you've watched the video that is with our new song, there's so many babies in there that are no longer with us, and it's just like, it's wild to think about the amount of things that have been squeezed into these chapters of our life. How many things we've been blessed with, how many long nights we're out in a barn, how many early mornings we're, you know, out treating and caring for animals. And it's just amazing to think of and overwhelming at the same time. Yes, Lester yelling at Nate to hush it up. Absolutely. Aunt Lydia. So Aunt Lydia, or Gray Goose, is another feathered animal that just showed up out of nowhere. I accused Lester of, this is really bad. I accused Lester of allowing someone to drop her off and just not telling me in the beginning. I was like, you're lying to me. No, there's no way that a beautiful goose like that is just going to show up all on her own. He was like, I swear, I swear. And it's true. She came from out of nowhere and she stayed. And she taught our only other female goose about being a mom and pulled her out of the flock. And somebody had sent us baby geese and baby ducks, and we were raising them in the stalls, and those two came and took those babies over. That was all around the same time of Journey, the goat, who a lady called us and said, I have a goat who is rejected by her mama and she has some deformities and I don't know if she's going to live, but would you like to try? And we did. And that turned out to be one of the most profound things I've ever done. Elvira, the baby deer, who we got called about, who we almost got arrested over. So many things, y'all. And it's so powerful to watch just what is squeezed into that video. That's not everybody. And I'm just not talking about just the ones that have passed. I'm talking about the ones that are alive. I'm out there outside last night, watering, and I see Ringo laying on the ground and not moving. And he's under the light, the only security light out there. And all of the other animals are gathered around him. And my heart sank because I know that Ringo is the most long-standing animal that we have, and that he is not going to live forever. He's not. And I genuinely thought last night that he had passed. The donkeys are sniffing him. The other goats are just like loving on him and just all standing around. It looked borderline like a manger scene from Christmas. And Ringo was the baby Jesus in the middle. And I'm like, squinting my eyes, sweat, dirt, all the things are because I'm finishing chores and it's dark now at this point in time. And I start to walk closer because I'm panicking. And all of a sudden he picks his head up and looks at me like, what? He's laying in the middle of the hay, eating while he's laying down, napping in between. And the reason everybody else is around him is because they're also eating. So it just, it's never dull. And it's hard to think about the ones who are no longer here, but it's even harder to think about the ones who will no longer be here. And then what? And then I start to question I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to take on any more. And am I missing my calling? Am I missing something? Are these things brought to me and I'm turning them down and I'm changing my own path against all of the ways of the universe by saying no? Or am I truly, should I not be? I feel guilty for saying to you all that I'm overwhelmed. I feel guilty for saying that I can't take on any more right now. Because when I look back at all of these moments, if I said during those times that I was overwhelmed or that if I would have said no, I would have never got to experience these things. And that sort of breaks my heart. So anyway, Ringo was king of the castle last night. I promise you that. I walked out there and he eventually got up, and the only like, of course I heard his bell, but I could feel his hot air, like he was breathing down the back of my calf muscle. I'm like, I feel hot air on my leg, and there's only one animal that would do that to me in that moment. And it sure enough, it was Ringo. Like, pet me, or I'm going to wrap my horn around your ankle and toss you. So we'll see. Anyway, I see a lot of people asking about the Dear Jamie podcast. I'm working on that. I don't have a return date yet. My hopes and dreams were that it would be by July, but there's still a lot of behind the scenes work to do, and I'm in figure out mode with a lot of those things. It will be back, I promise you, but it'll have its own channel. And it'll have other things. I have created the channel already. I do have stuff uploaded to it. It is not live for you all to find yet, but when it is, I promise to tell you about it, and we'll get back on track with those. I promise you. I love doing the Dear Jamie podcast. That's one thing I have found some of the greatest joy in, and I can't wait to resume it and bring you all along that journey with me as well. So. Y'all, I've been rambling for longer than an hour, and I started late tonight, so I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you joining me for a cocktail on Tuesdays, taking a time out from everything that we all have going on, and just being able to catch up with you like friends. I wish that I could hear all of your stories just as well, and I wish I could truly sit across from each one of you and ask about how your day was and what's on your mind or what's on your heart just as much, because it does bring me joy to listen and hear everything that's going on in your life too. I hope that you stay well. I hope that you stay safe. I hope that you give yourself a pause and a timeout whenever you need one, and I hope that people treat you kindly in times whenever you're having your kitchen meltdown. So I love you so very much. Thank you again for giving me the greatest gift of all, which is your time. Tomorrow's video should be a really great one, and I know there's so much more to come this week as well. So I will catch y'all on the very next video. Good night, y'all.